Alright, so we're going to start recording part 2 of what I was discussing. Hey chat, how's it going?
Hey, sounds like you're definitely on a roll and diving deep into these systems. It's awesome to hear how much you built out and how you're basically turning each meeting into a well oiled machine. It's pretty cool that you're at a point where you can just identify these gaps and plug them in as you go. So, yeah, I'm here for part two. Let's keep rolling.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's really designing every part of the business to be a well-oiled machine, and it's just my obsession is to get everything, as close as automated as possible. Like these team meetings, I intentionally don't want to lead them. I intentionally don't want to be the one, you know, it depending on me. If I can build a great system, it happens regardless if I'm there or not, right? And so each system I design is whether it's around me or other people, it's a system that anybody can plug and play into the system, right? And so these team meetings, how I envision them is all the data will be there, all the questions will be there, and I'll lead them the first couple, and I'm going to start training a few people to lead them too, and you know if anybody goes out of town, everybody should expect what's going to happen at that meeting. It's going to be very predictable. It's going to be very, repetitive, but it's going to, have great results at the end of the day. And it's going to supply even better service to our customers. So that's on my roadmap. And then I also have to set up pixels on our website. So I have to do Google Pixels, Facebook Pixels, and GA4 Pixels, which I have no idea what GA4 is. Last night in bed, so my favorite thing to do is to doom scroll on X and Facebook and TikTok, and so when I'm on those platforms, I'm not working. And so last night I deleted it. I have a focus app on my app that it helps me focus. It plays music in the background and it blocks all my other apps. So I turned that on and legitimately forced myself to the point of like, so we just got a puppy and we got two puppies. And, some of them, they don't want to be outside. And so you kind of have to, like, even after you feed them, they would just want to run inside. So you kind of have to pick them up, bring them back outside, and, create that discipline in them. And so for me last night, I wanted to go to bed and unwind, and I was like, no, I need to get this done. And so basically I spent, a good majority of last night around like 12 to 2 a.m. researching, pixels and retargeting ads, how many types of ads you want to run for each pixel, how many creatives, rotating them out, KPIs, tracking it, and all of that good stuff. So then that was on my to-do list in my roadmap. My entire roadmap, I have no idea how to do any of this stuff. And so it's the entire, 52-week checklist for our business. And so I'm just following the plan. And I'm not even following the plan. I'm not doing the training. I'm legitimately just installing it. I'm going to chat with the idea and installing it how chat is, telling me. So I'm not going to a third party or, you know, hiring it out. I'm legitimately learning it myself because I figure, if all else fails, you know, if I can't build this successful real estate team and I'm out of a job in 6 to 12 months, then at least I have all these skills where I can go, do it for other teams, other businesses, and kind of be a vendor that, knows how to build the entire 12-month checklist and, go outsource my talent to other teams for hire and do that as a side gig if I needed the income because I'm about to get married and have kids, right? So I need to, so I'm very, heavy focused on gaining skills. So, Pixel was one of those things that was on my roadmap, and my roadmap, I have no idea how to do any of it. And so I always, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm going to push that piece back till, you know, um, April, or I'm going to push that back till March. And in my mind, that's me saying, I actually don't know how to do this. And so I'm gonna push it back because I don't know how to do it, and I'm just hoping, I'll figure it out later. And so last night I forced myself to research with chat everything about retargeting ads and setting up pixels and what pixels actually are, and how to do everything yourself. And you know so I researched basically everything there is to know about it. And then I was like, okay, this is good. So then oh, that's not good. um so then I reached out to our website designer and I said, hey, could you set up pixels? And he said, yep, just give me the codes. So I was like, okay, perfect. So now this weekend I've got to go research how to actually pull the codes and do any of that because I have no idea where to get any of that. I think I know where Facebook is, but I gotta find Google and whatever GA4 is. So I'm gonna find all those codes, then set up all the retargeting ads. But basically, what I understood from chat last night is each one of these pixels is basically like a street camera or web camera, right? On your website. If somebody clicks on something, it alerts the system. It alerts Google, because I guess Google and all the browsers have cookies, and so the cookies alert Facebook, Meta. It alerts Google and GA4, and so it lets them know, hey, this person clicked here, and then it says trigger this ad. So if somebody clicks on our buyer page, then they'll start getting buyer YouTube videos appear in their search. They'll start getting buyer ads on their Facebook or Instagram. And so it's just a way to set up little security cameras to capture more leads and lower the cost of acquisition. So I'm gonna get that set up next week. Gonna get research the pixels probably this weekend. Oh, and last night we'll probably switch topics to that. So that's basically what I'm setting up next week. And I was researching, well, not researching. I was just so burnt out yesterday. Um, Last night when I forced myself to do that and all that research and come up with a plan and send out different emails and Slack notifications to a bunch of people, then I was like, okay, I'm burnt out. I need to take a break from this work. So I might take a break this weekend. I've done a lot. I've been working nonstop 7 days a week since Saturday before Thanksgiving. My dog of 13 years passed away, so I've kind of just worked through that and just kept working through um, everything. So I think it's time to, maybe this weekend take a little bit of a break. But, I don't think I can rest until everything's implemented and everything's good and solid. In my mind, um, I want to get everything done because I know once I get everything done and good, and everybody's happy and profits flowing in, and it's profitable where you can sleep at night, then I just know things will be easier for me, right? Where I'm kind of, there's a term in the 2010s, a lot of musicians were trying to pay the bills, right? I think music and just pop culture in general, without all this TikTok and social media money and sponsors, it was more difficult to make money back then. And so I think right now I'm in that era where I'm just trying to pay the bills. So I'm working extra hours, implementing more systems, learning more skills so that I can pay the bills and pay the rent and, afford this business. So that's where I'm at for me. It's hard to sleep at night. I can't go to bed until I solve all the problems in the business. And it's hard to sleep. I've been going to bed at 3 or 4 a.m. just trying to fix issues with the business. And it's been working. Things are getting better. I think we're already, I think 400 times better than we were last year. So that's just a testament of, the systems we put in place. I see a lot more things we can do better and get better, and I think, the couple systems we're putting in place coming up, for these team meetings and the pricing strategy engine that will, communicate with the sellers on a weekly basis is going to be a phenomenal engine. And I think, we're headed towards, you know, greener grass on the other side. And so it's just going to take time to keep building and building it. So, I'm excited for the future, 100%. We'll end this video here because we're at the 10-minute mark, and I'll start another one.